The bayous of New Orleans whispered secrets, secrets that slid across the water like mist and disappeared before morning. It was in this forgotten corner of Louisiana that Darnell lived, a 24-year-old black mechanic with strong hands, tired eyes, and a heart that had been broken too many times to count. His life was a symphony of struggle. His mother died during childbirth. His grandmother raised him while working as a housekeeper for rich tourists. And his father, gone before his name was ever spoken? Darnell worked long shifts in a rundown auto repair shack by the swamp, fixing boat engines and beat-up trucks in exchange for cash that barely paid for dinner. But one night, as thunder rolled over the water, he found a letter slipped into the crack of his trailer door. It wasn't handwritten, not exactly. It looked engraved, like pressed into the paper by something ancient. The parchment smelled faintly of lavender and fire. "Darnell Jules, you are invited to Whitgrave Manor. Arrive at sunset. Wear black." There was no sender name. At first he laughed. "What is this? A prank?" But something about the texture of the paper made his fingers tremble. And truth be told, there wasn't much waiting for him at home, except silence and broken dreams. So curiosity became his guide. At sunset, Darnell arrived at Whitgrave Manor, a place spoken of in whispers, abandoned for decades. The mansion stood like a corpse in the swamp, rotting yet grand, vines curling over its face like veins. A figure stood on the porch, tall, still, draped in shadows. As he approached, the woman stepped into the light. She was breathtaking in an unnatural way. Eleanor Whitgrave, a 67-year-old socialite who vanished from New Orleans high society over 30 years ago. Yet here she stood, untouched by time, wearing a gown of black velvet that shimmered like night oil. "You came," she said, her voice like silk, sliding over glass. "You invited me," Darnell replied, trying not to stare. "Why?" "I've watched you," she said. "I know your pain. I know your loyalty. I know your blood." "What do you want from me?" Eleanor looked him in the eye. "Marriage." He stepped back. "What the hell?" She remained calm. "Not for love, not for lust, for legacy. Marry me, and I will clear your debts, fund your business, give you a life you deserve. 1 year of your life, Darnell. That's all I ask." He laughed bitterly. "You're serious?" Her gaze didn't falter. "What's the catch?" "There's always a catch," she said, "but it's not one you'll understand, yet." The money she offered was real, the contract notarized, and Darnell, tired, broke, and hungry for escape, signed. The wedding took place the next day. No guests, just her, him, and 2 shadowy witnesses who never spoke. She wore red this time, blood red. Her lips matched the color, her smile too wide. Their home became the manor. It was vast, strange. Rooms rearranged themselves, mirrors reflected memories, doors creaked with voices, and always at 3:33 a.m., the hallway outside his room echoed with slow, dragging footsteps. Eleanor was kind, distant. She didn't ask for his touch, just his presence. They dined together by candlelight, always at dusk. The servants, silent things in gray uniforms, never blinked. Darnell never saw them walk. They were simply there, like shadows. By the 4th night, he couldn't sleep. He dreamt of fire, of chanting, of being pulled underground. He woke with dirt beneath his nails. The next night, he explored the attic. Inside was a small room with a circle of white salt on the floor. At the center, a photo of him, taken last week. Beneath it, scratched into the wood, his full name, date of birth, blood type. He stumbled back, heart racing. That's when he noticed the paintings, portraits of young black men, dozens of them, all in black suits, all standing beside Eleanor. Some looked like him, too much like him. Then he saw the dates. One man every decade, each listed as deceased exactly 7 days after marriage. That's when he knew he wasn't her first husband. He was her next ritual. Darnell backed out of the attic, each step a fight against panic. His breath came in gasps. Those portraits, they weren't just decorative. They were memorials to men like him, young, black, desperate, and all gone within 7 days. Back in his room, he tried to pack, but his clothes were missing. His phone? Dead. Even the windows sealed from the outside. That night, Eleanor entered his room for the first time. She wore a flowing white robe that fluttered behind her like smoke. Her face? Not quite right anymore. The skin around her eyes sagged slightly, then stretched tight. Her pupils flickered vertical for a moment like a serpent. "You've seen the attic," she said, not a question. Darnell clenched his fists. "What are you?" Eleanor sighed, almost sadly. "I was once like you, flesh and hope. But I was chosen by the Old One beneath the bayou. I gave up mortality in exchange for power, time, and protection. You kill men," he shouted. "You feed on them." "I bind to them," she whispered. "Their life anchors me. Each bond renews me for a decade. Without it, I rot. I burn. And you picked me because, why? Because your bloodline is pure," she said. "You are a direct descendant of someone very old. The spirits remember you. You're stronger than the others were. If I survive through you, I stay young for 20 years, not 10. You're the final vessel." Darnell backed into the corner. "You're insane." "No," she said softly. "I'm eternal." Then she vanished, melted into the shadows as if never there. The next day the house shifted, literally. Hallways twisted, stairs led nowhere, doors vanished. The manor had become a trap. He found the old chef, a man with milky white eyes and trembling hands. Darnell grabbed him. "How do I get out?" The chef wept. "No one gets out. We all served her once. We are bound to her until the ritual ends." "Unless someone breaks it," Darnell said. The final night arrived, the 7th day. The house grew cold. The swamp outside moaned. The sky turned purple with no stars. Eleanor called him to the velvet room. He entered, forced by invisible hands. Inside, the floor glowed with a red circle. Candles flickered without wind. At the center stood Eleanor, now fully transformed, her hair jet black, her skin luminous, eyes glowing gold. She was beautiful, but in a way that hurt to look at, like staring at the sun through broken glass. "You are mine now, Darnell. The bond is complete." "No," he whispered. She raised her hand, and pain seared through his chest. Symbols carved themselves into his skin, glowing red. He dropped to his knees, shaking. "I claim your soul," she intoned. "In the name of the Old One, I seal this vessel." But as the flames rose around him, Darnell did something none of her husbands ever had. He bit down hard on his tongue. Blood spilled into his palm. He crawled to the center of the circle and drew his own symbol, not hers. "My soul is mine," he shouted, "and I renounce your bond." The flame screamed. Eleanor shrieked. Her skin cracked, split, bled shadows. The room shook violently. "No, you cannot break it. I chose you," she howled. "You chose me," he said, standing tall, "but I never chose you." He pulled a lighter from his pocket and dropped it onto the salt circle, igniting it instantly. Fire spread across the room, not burning wood, but memory. The portraits screamed. The walls bled ink. Eleanor reached for him, her form unraveling. "I'll come back. I always do." "Then I'll be waiting," he said. The room exploded in light. When Darnell woke, he was in a hospital bed. The nurse said he was found alone in the swamp. Clothes burnt, body unharmed. No sign of the manor, no trace of Eleanor, no evidence the estate ever existed. He moved to Houston, started a small auto business. Life was quiet again, honest. But sometimes, when he walked past a puddle at night, he saw her reflection, not his. Sometimes a letter would arrive in the mail, no sender, just a red wax seal. Unopened, he keeps them in a box, just in case. Because evil doesn't die, it just waits. And now, so does he.